Last week, we celebrated 5 years as the Doyenne Agency and the start of the sales agency. And this week, I just wanted to share a little bit about what I'm looking forward to going into the next 5 years. I'm Dr. Nadia, founder of the Doyenne Agency and creator of Straight Talk About Sales. Tune in. Things that happens when you are celebrating an anniversary or a birthday or something like that. I think especially at this stage in my life, I tend to take a moment to just reflect back. And last week we celebrated 5 years of having the agency when we made that pivot. And it was fun to have the team to say, hey, Nadia, we need to celebrate, but to also take that time to just reflect. And so last week, I talked about some of the lessons that I learned over the past 5 years. And today I just wanted to chat about a few of the things that I'm looking forward to over the next 5 years. The first one is just having a greater impact. I did a podcast interview. And one of the things that came up during that particular conversation was just how a lot of times women business owners, when they're going into and, figuring out their business and doing those things, the money piece isn't the number one. Depending on the person, it's, somewhere on there. But it's typically not the number one thing. There is this, this desire to support a certain group or do a certain thing, or they see a particular need they want to fill, or they want to have a certain impact. And then at some point, like, oh yeah, I guess we should make some money, right? So it's on there somewhere. And as I think forward to the next 5 years, just thinking about greater impact in different ways that I can have a greater impact. We as a company, as a team, can have a greater impact in our local communities, but also in the women that we get to work with, we get to serve. I also think greater impact from a legacy standpoint as I continue to model and be an example to my daughter, and how you have a different option. There are options that she gets to choose. And one of the things is so funny, she's so cute. She's like, I have options, I have choices. And that is one thing that we've been really talking with her about. And, you have choices, you get to make choices. And from choices, there are also sometimes consequences and, those sorts of things. But it's really fun to watch her really embrace that. And so I get to show her a different option. So when she's at a certain age, she has choices and she gets to see that this could potentially be one of her choices to not necessarily leave this company, but she might choose to start her own. So I'm really looking forward to that over the next 5 years. Another thing is I just feel like there are more books to come. So I'm really excited that we'll be releasing Sell Like a Lady coming up here in a couple of months. And I also feel like there are some more books to come. So definitely, and I guess that also ties into impact, like you get to impact people and reach them in different ways. So more writing for me, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. And I would also say the third thing that I'm really looking forward to over the next 5 years is stepping more fully into that part of the vision when we made the pivot. One of the goals that I had and part of that vision was creating jobs. And I talked a little bit about this in a video last week around just sometimes with the team and just my resistance to growing the team and all my fears and doubts and insecurities and everything around that. But I am looking forward to stepping more fully into embracing that and then doing the things necessary to make that a reality. I don't yet know what that looks like. I don't know how big our team will grow or what, but the opportunity to create this space where people can, buy in and be a support to just increase the impact is really exciting. It was one of those things. And I remember there were 5 questions that my counsel asked me to answer as we were preparing, to start our work together. And they're like, don't censor yourself, just sit down. And I remember going to our front room in our home and sitting down with my journal. I'm definitely a pen and pencil girl, and pen and paper. Lord, I said pen and pencil, pen and paper girl. And I was writing, what was there. And one of the things that was so vivid as I was thinking about what I wanted to start to build and start to shift into was this realization that, Nadia, you're not getting any younger. And while in this season, this feels great, and this works, it won't always be that way. And I see now, especially now that we have our daughter and, we're parents and we're doing different things in our family life, and how that may translate or has translated into me operating and moving differently in my business. And we've, operated and moved differently in our family, and really talking more about our family values. And it was interesting because legacy was also a part of that vision of being able to create something. And I think my words were to create something that didn't solely rely on me. And one of the things that I've talked to the team about is just, let's start looking at the ways that we can pull Nadia out of it. Like, how can the team operate without me? And I no longer am the bottleneck. Like, what would that look like? And we've been really working on that. And I can see that, continuing over the next several years, or not. Maybe we'll fast track it and I will not be so complicated. But for now, we're on the slow track. And so what will that look like to be able to bring other people on the team, to, to have these positions, whatever they may be, to really have that impact. I had a sales call recently, and one of the things that the prospect said to me was, Nadia, I don't know anyone else that's doing this. And it was just like, Now I know, I remember when I first started, I didn't, but I now know people that do what we do or similar work. But her saying that wasn't an ego thing, but it was a stark reminder to me that there is a need and we have the opportunity to meet that need. And it just connected me back to my why of being that support for women service-based business owners as they are looking to grow and scale, and to be able to have someone to support them with that revenue piece that sometimes gets lost in the sauce. And it can be so challenging when you're in that growth and scale period of your business. And it was actually a personal challenge to me, for me and the team, as we continue to grow and as we continue to meet and think about the impact that we want to have, and just making sure that our offers and our vision, that why part doesn't get lost, because it's so important in the work that we get to do. And so over the next 5 years, I just see us really stepping more fully into that, to just really be able to support more people in different ways, but to be able to really just see businesses skyrocket, and for other women business owners to be in a place where they too feel comfortable and confident in making that choice and that decision to create jobs. Like, how fascinating and fabulous would that be? So I am so excited because we are celebrating. We've been in this mode. I am also looking forward to a little bit of downtime. And, as we behind the scenes are preparing for our book release. So just thank you again. Thank you for being a part of this community, for tapping in. And we look forward to being able to continue to serve this community powerfully, to continue to be the bridge, right? And show a different experience as it relates to sales, and still be able to grow and build profitable, sustainable businesses. So this is Dr. Nadia. So excited to celebrate 5 years and to just have a moment to look back and look forward to what is to come. stay tuned. Our new podcast does launch on July 7th. And then we will be adjusting slightly how often we release the content, but it will still be some great content. And we will now also have some great guests that will share their insights and their expertise with our community. So this is Dr. Nadia signing off. I will see you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.